6:30. First we'll have roll call. Mayor Mccracken.
Norma McNair.
Kendall treasurer.
Okay. Next we will have the welcoming of Joe Tipman as a new commissioner for 2023. As of right now, there's a vacancy on the commission as Patrick Murray has resigned due to personal reasons, so therefore we asked Joe to come up early. So, Joe, would you like to come up here and we'll get your oath done?
Thank you.
Swear you in. Thank you for accepting.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Congratulations on your election.
Thanks. Okay, you want to stand up? I know. So, here's your hand. Okay, so I'll let you do that. If you'd like to.
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Kansas and faithfully discharge the duties of Commissioner. Commissioner of the City of Mccracken. So help me God. So help me God, and this I do under pains and penalties of perjury.
Welcome, Joe.
Got it for some.
Who's the notary?
Doesn't require a notary. We checked it out with the attorney.
I'll share it with you and you can.
Okay, so roll call. Joe, Commissioner.
Here.
Who's on the list? Recording clear online. So we will do next. I have the consent agenda. So go inside here. This is your.
I don't know what all you have in there. I didn't really go through everything.
How do you get everything else? This is everything. I'm not sure. So I'll let you go through those.
I'm going to grab a pen.
Okay, so then we'll start with the consent agenda. So on the consent agenda, it's just the approve the minutes, so that should be. Yeah, there would be some. With this. This is So everyone have a chance to look over those. Chance to look over those.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. I'll make a motion to accept the, or to approve the consent agenda.
Austin, I can't hear.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Is your mic?
Is there a second? Oh, yeah. My bad. I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All in favor say aye. Aye, all opposed, same side, motion carried. Okay. So, as for resolutions and ordinances, at this time, there is no resolution or ordinance to propose.
Just one of the
Discussion, what, public comment?
Yeah, it was really before that. Just, here's the two that you have.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you just.
Yeah, we'll do public comment right now. I have who?
Right.
Jackie and Anita Butler. So Jackie will go first.
Okay, just stand up.
Yep, you just stand up.
Okay.
Before this talk.
First thing I want to draw your attention to is on, due to the freedom of information, I have requested this information. I did get the invoice for Beck and Gun, and this was as of September 22nd.
Why don't you wait on the mayor? He's finishing his text.
Jackie speaking. I'm sorry, Chris. I'm setting a timer for 4 minutes like we normally do. So if you'd like to continue, please.
Okay, August 24th and August 25th, you were contacted on August 24th as a personal individual from Shelley Lippert, my boss, the postmaster. You were contacted by her individually, not by any reason to deal with the city. On August 24th, you contacted our city attorney, your city attorney, however you want to put it, and it looks like there was a charge for 2 hours at $250 to email to Shelley Lippert, the postmaster. On August 25th, another review, drafting email reviewing messages from Lippert at USPS, and revised letter to USPS, email to mayor. That is misappropriation of funds. You personally owe that to the attorney. The city should not have to address that in any manner. Secondly, there has been a lot of scuttlebutt, and I know there's a lot of gossip in this town, but there was in fact a $150 donation check from Golden Belt for lights in the park. Those lights in the park are for the city. The city owns that park. Has nothing to do with individuals that choose to go out there and do a fund. If that fund is created, then it goes through the general fund and through the city. That is again misappropriation of funds. And I am fully aware that Austin, you were aware, and Norma was, Ms. McNair were aware of that at the time. There's also scuttlebutt that you are going to inquire, and I see it on the agenda that you're discussing 3 to 5 man again, when it was voted down through a ballot, which you did not, and you had neglected. I've gone back through every one of these videos. You neglected to share with the public that that was going to be a cost, thousands of dollars cost, to put that question on the ballot. And now you're upset with that ballot question or answer, because the city themselves have already responded to a no. and it needs to be put to rest. That's it.
Okay, and I have the right to speak during public comment if I so choose to. So at this point in time, there's a $150 check from Golden Belt that was deposited into the account. So therefore, that money is in the account as to be used for Christmas lights for the city.
Well, there was a lot of differentiation that Christina Brooke herself wanted it cashed and given it to her, and according to, yes, it was. And Norman McNair chose to disagree with that. She wanted it cashed as well, instead of going through the general
Nobody
fund.
wanted it.
Yes,
cashed.
ma'am.
It's already been,
It's already been tailed with.
Pat's wife, just went.
Angela.
Angela and Nicole, already got on and ordered, something, lights, Santa Claus, whatever. So it's already been,
And it's gone through the city.
and it's already went through, so that it's already been back
Thank
to
you.
the park. You're
Thank
good.
you very much. I appreciate it.
Yes, and the ballot question did not cost thousands of dollars. It was a free question to be put on
Oh, absolutely not.
there. Absolutely it was.
Okay. Well, we'll go to Tacey tomorrow and we'll find out.
Okay?
Because she's the one that shared that with us.
As for Shelley Lippert, that was on a personal matter, and that was on a
You are correct. It doesn't matter
That
what
was
the
on a
issue
private,
is.
Jackie, I'm speaking. That was also on a private matter with the city. Because the city, and I will make this public, the city has not been receiving all their mail. So we did talk to Chris Gunn and had him draft a letter that we had not received the mail. Because we did have an issue where the funds themselves, sorry, not the funds, the actual mail themselves, they were not put in the correct
I'd like to
box.
see the letters, that's all. Freedom of Information Act. It has to deal with me and the postmaster, which is my boss. I'd like to see the interaction. Thank you.
You'd like to see the interaction of what?
Of all that conversation. I have a right to it.
That's fine.
Thank you.
But it is not a,
It
was
is
not,
common court.
it was not a personal matter, it was a private matter.
Actually, it was both.
It was a private public matter with the city.
Private public?
Private public is.
It's not private, it was a public
You-
matter with the city.
Well, that's, disagree. So,
You can
I've got
disagree.
documentation as well.
Okay.
So it is
Perhaps
misappropriation
you
of
can get the
funds.
documentation that I sent to the Attorney General
Okay.
that stated the city in it.
I've already seen that too. And there's no proof that we were holding mail of any kind. It went through the forwarding process, and you've worked for the post office before. You know what that process is. That goes straight down for 18 months that is sitting there.
So where
And it
was,
could be lost, and also, Nicole has even shared with me that it was not lost. She went to them and she received torn documentation from the city, or from the post office. So that is absolutely a fallacy. My 4 minutes is up, thank you.
your 4 minutes may be up, but mine's not.
Keep going.
I have a right to defend the city because it's not misappropriation of funds.
Again, we need to see all the documentation on those emails.
Be sure to put in a request and Nicole will get it to you.
I have put in a request and it was denied. I was told Jackie Kennedy's not allowed to have any information.
That is not true.
Okay? Again, I've got it in writing.
What was the question from the personal, public, private question?
The personal public.
That you were talking to the attorney about that's been
I
built.
was talking to the attorney because a box P05 was registered under my address on Main Street up here of my little building, and the city's mail was being put into it. It was being held. We didn't receive all of the city's mail.
It's put in your post office box?
I don't have a post office box. It was put, the city's mail, the city of Mccracken's mail was being put into P.O. Box 5. P.O. Box 5 was to be closed when we closed it for 2 years because the
And
municipality.
it is not 2 years. You need to go back and reread.
This
your
is what
rules.
Shelley Lippert told me, that it was 2 years when
No,
she
it's not.
contacted me.
You were using the 410
So
address?
therefore,
You were using the
I was
410
not using the 410 address. I was not using the 410 address, no. Was this
That's
working?
just what you said.
No, whoa, sorry. My bad.
Not empty.
I think we can hear you without that.
No, we can't.
I've been asked to speak up. No, I was not using the 410 address. The 410 address had an application with the city of City of Mccracken Pride was using the 410 address. I was not. They asked me if I had that address, and I told them, no, I did not.
She asked
Was
you
I-
personally, Austin, this had nothing to do with the city. Nothing.
Absolutely had to do with the city. because our
Absolutely did
mail was
not,
in
and I
that
can show
box.
proof, and I have documentation to the
Our mail was in
absolute
that box.
facts. No, it was not. It was never placed in that box. I was on medical leave when that all happened. All on medical leave when that happened.
It was still being held whether it was you or anybody.
Doesn't matter. Wasn't me.
I didn't say it was you.
And it was not any part of 410 that had to do with that. Again, that was personal. She contacted you personal, not with the city. She initiated that conversation, not you.
She contacted me because of our mail being put there.
No, she did not. She contacted you because of the 410, which I made an error. We had 410 given to us by the sheriff when we first moved here in the RV. Whether it was your address then or not, I don't know, but the sheriff gave us that and it was on our driver's license.
Until the house was
Still
built.
is, or
Then
still
they
was.
changed it to 911 address, 412. So I hope it didn't cause you any harm by using 410.
Since it was a vacant building to begin with.
They just asked me,
Again, it was a personal conversation,
No, it
Austin.
wasn't. It
Had
had
nothing to
to do
do with the city.
it absolutely did.
Absolutely did not.
Either way, you can request the information.
We got
I
the address
appreciate it.
changed, so you don't have to get butthurt over it.
Okay, Nita Butler.
Yes, I was hoping that since two of you were appointed commissioners, that you would just stay with the status quo, just kind of try to keep things going as they were, cracking down on the dilapidated, abandoned housing, maintaining the cemetery, which is still tumbled over headstones, broken dog branches on trees that have been there for several months now. Instead, you're still pushing through with that 5-person thing. You were appointed. Why are you taking on more stuff that nobody wants? And you should be concentrating just on running the business, running the community, until the elected people are in place to take over. That's all.
Thank you for your comment. We'll take it to a work session.
Sorry, can I interrupt one more time? Sorry.
You may not.
Work sessions need to be notified to the
They
public
are-
as well.
It's in an ordinance.
It's in an ordinance, but they also need to be notified.
Ordinance was notified in the paper. It's in the-
Contact them again.
Okay. Next, we're going to have, as far as resolutions and ordinances to propose a 5-person commission. 5-person commission was not voted on. A 5-person council was voted on. 5-person commission would mean to extend the commission to the regular government that we have currently with 2 other people to entertain more views.
No matter how you twist it.
Good luck getting extra
Wouldn't be
people to
twisted.
run.
Oh, they've got them.
So therefore, that's what the 5-person commission is. So at this time, I would make a motion to table that because we don't even have we don't have a resolution nor an ordinance. And I'd like to get Joe's opinion on,
Commission council. Definition.
is there a,
I make a motion, we table.
sorry, okay. Oh. Is this thing not work?
Batteries are
Sure.
going.
Let's see, maybe it'll work now. Probably. Okay, so, make a what'd you think, Norm? I'll make a motion. I'm gonna speak up. Rosemary, you may just have to move closer. Okay, so, I'll make a motion that we table the proposal of a 5-person commission due to resolutions and ordinances at this time. Is there a second?
Joe second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we table the ordinances and resolutions 5-person commission at this time. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same side, motion carried. Okay, so now we'll go to Norma for commissioners' reports.
Actually, right now I don't have, unless you want to talk about the, I guess I could. I did contact William Greenway to check on the milo crop for the cemetery. And he gave us some, how much we had was 814.04 bushels, and that would come as today's price, because if I call him tomorrow, that'll be tomorrow's price, which probably won't fluctuate a whole lot, but it was $5,779 with a little bit of cents, he said. So that would be what it would sell for, pretty close to as tomorrow. And we do have to have it in between 8:30 and 1 o'clock tomorrow if we do vote on it to be sold. But other than that, I really have nothing right now.
Okay. And for that, so then next we'll have Commissioner Murray, since he's resigned, that would be Joe's. I'll go ahead and, you probably don't have anything to report here.
Would you like to say welcome?
No, like to say thank y'all for your confidence and your votes, and hope we do a good job for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
As for the mayor report, I will touch on Commissioner Murray's. As far as the sewers, has anybody had any issues with the sewers since they did the sewer clean out? I don't believe we've had any issues. It seems like they went down 400,000, 4,000.
I think second and first and third. I think first, second, and third street. And I'm not sure if it was on this end or the other end, but I think it was on this end.
There was on the
And
west
I
side. Because
did
they
have
were in the
some.
backyard, so.
Because mine was kind of smelling in the bathroom, and I have not noticed it since, so.
Okay. Yes, Arlie.
Nicole sent me a map of the
Yes.
city, and
Yeah.
it had blocked off what was going to be flushed,
Yeah.
and it was the west side.
Yeah,
I
that's what I
thought
said
it was
was the west
over
side.
there. I was gone that when they did that, so I didn't talk to him.
So,
Pat did.
okay. As far as your question, Anita, to answer about headstones, when we had our work session last night, I talked about how the guy from Keepley Monument, Ron Keepley, he had said that maybe gave us a quote around $800, because Judge Schneider had said about $3,000 to fix those headstones. But he said that we'd have to allow in the spring or when the ground's a little bit better. So he said that he was gonna go ahead and come back out and reassess everything to see what we can do for that.
And you will have the Herdman metal corner?
Absolutely. That's the
And
that's the
so-
one, that's the Army one, right? The veterans.
Yes.
Military, it's a
Military.
military flag.
So, the first meeting you said, yes, we will take care of all the headstones. I said, oh, great, because Grandpa and Grandma Stevens needs fixed. Then the next meeting you said, oh, upon further consideration, we can't do that, yada, yada, yada. I said, okay, so Mom and Aunt Arlene went ahead and paid to have that repaired. Then you come back with, oh, no, the city needs to take care of that. So will you reimburse Mom and Aunt Arlene for that?
I don't expect reimbursed.
Okay.
Reimbursed.
Okay.
I wanted it done in a timely manner, and I was afraid this would go on and on and on here. And
No, and that's fine, because that, to fix the headstones for the city, to answer your questions, those are for, we always would approach the fact that if the families, if there's any around that can help take care of that, we encourage that first, and then if not, then we go ahead and we can fix them. The ones that we're looking at fixing are ones that families aren't anywhere around.
Okay, well, thank you.
some of the families totally are deceased.
Yeah.
In that old part, there's no one to contact.
You don't have to vote for that.
Richard?
You don't have to vote for that.
No, you've read them, correct? Did you read those?
Well, he probably doesn't have a problem.
Or did you glance them? Or do you want to go through and read them? You can read them, we can go back.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say, because that's on the consent
I'll
agenda.
look at it.
Okay, that's fine. Whenever you change it, if this is on the consent agenda, they're usually things that you do every time.
Okay.
So then you just approve the consent agenda.
Right,
But
okay.
that's when you got
I see
your,
that.
that's when you got your
I see
packet.
that. Okay.
Sorry, so you can. So, okay.
We're on the same page.
Yeah. Also, with the week will we be able to go ahead and, will you be able to get us a cash price of what it would be to sell if we were gonna sell that?
Yeah, tomorrow, if we actually need to go ahead and decide if we're gonna sell it. I mean, because it's gonna be very close to what what we had. I mean, it won't vary much, maybe cents or whatever, but, we probably do need to decide if we want to sell that or not at this time. Because if we don't, then we're gonna start having storage on it.
As far as the park goes, we were still set for the 26th for Christmas lights. And to clear up anything with the $150 that you're talking about, that situation, we were advised that all money that is collected from the organization that collects it, if the city was to own it, the $150 that would be put into that fund, if they purchase lights with that, then $150 of those Christmas lights are the city's. Technically, the other, whatever, 950, that would be the organization that has those. Those would not be the city. So if anything happened,
So who's the organization? Who's the organization?
It would be whoever.
Oh, so they're going to create an organization?
They don't have to create a fund. Actually, the public park. You can go out on the public park and you can go and put Christmas lights up, and I can't stop you. It doesn't
Austin,
matter.
this is absolutely ludicrous. It's not true.
Actually, they're donated to the city.
That's right.
Well, they're donated to the city, but what I'm
To
saying,
the city.
the $150 is what I was talking about.
But that
Where it's gone through the fund, that the
We
city's
only
only
got that
liable.
because they couldn't give it to an individual, they had to give it to an
Right.
organization. It's already been
Yes.
put in there, and it's already been spent on the Christmas lights that it was intended for, so it's already gone and done.
No, I'm just explaining that the reason that she was talking about the 150 is because what was brought up about that was the $150, the city has those $150 in Christmas lights because of the fund.
I know what was brought
But
up.
the-
They wanted
but
to
the
cash the
actual-
check.
But the actual other amount, the way it doesn't go through the fund, the people that raise the money, they're responsible for the liability if something was to happen with those Christmas lights, but I can't stop anybody from putting anything on the property.
So, I guess when people raise money for a donation for an organization, they go, here, we're donating these to you, so now they are yours.
Yes, which is the intention, yes.
So it would be the city's Christmas lights that somebody gave them.
If they donate them.
Yes,
If they
thank
donate
you.
them,
Yes,
Yes.
yeah. If it's a donation to the city,
Yes.
yes, it is. And basically that is, Pat made that comment last night when we was talking. He said, we don't intend to have anything with them. We want them donated to the city. So,
Right, so then
so
you
they
own
would.
the lights that were donated to you.
All of them.
Yeah.
Next, we'll do the city office reports. Nicole's not here, she is at a training in Wichita, a clerk training. And so far, she told me that it's going well when I talked to her. So I'll go on to Treasurer Mandican.
Nicole's at the clerk conference right now, and then me and her are set to go on the 29th to actually a budget conference in Hayes. So we'll be attending that together. We're supposed to, hopefully within the next week, be getting everything submitted for October for the new software. So then we should be into our training. So we should start our training within the week after that. And so we should be having everything squared away, and then we'll have right on numbers for everything and the budgets and the funds after we can get all that in with our training next week.
Under old business, the sewer line blowout, I've already touched on that within my mayor's report, that sewer lines were cleaned out. So, as far as the cell phone, the city cell phone, I believe Nicole has already, with the approval from last time, turned the phone off. It's $350 to turn it off. We will be retaining the city number for a landline. And the city cell phone will be up for a closed bidding, well, a silent, I think she put closed bidding, but I think she meant a silent auction next week with bids starting at $350. So she can get that information to you guys if you would be interested in bidding on that. Just a reminder of the Christmas lights in the park. So the bank accounts will be as follows: the Farmers Bank holding on the city checking accounts, and the St. John's Bank will be keeping the city savings accounts, and the CD will remain in the banks that are currently held in. So that's, right now the bank accounts are in different places in this, Joe. So we would need to make a motion to change this due to the accounting software.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
Okay,
I'll stick it in.
okay. So you want to say that? Make a motion to retain the bank,
So-
change the bank where they are.
I make a motion to change the bank accounts. Partners Bank holding all checking accounts. SJN Bank will keep all city savings accounts. The CDs will remain in the bank they are currently held in.
Okay, Norma? Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we go ahead and keep the Farmers Bank holding all the city checking accounts, and the SJN Bank to keep the city savings accounts, and the CDs will remain at the banks that are currently held in. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same side, motion carries. Next we'll have Dave Littleton's building. Do what? This is partial fence, is that because this is this here, that what's this back here, that fence?
To go completely around us.
So yours is over here, right? So this fence back here. So, okay, so then when I go,
It'll be where that breezeway is, goes straight down there, and then straight next to the sidewalk, and then straight next out to the curbing on the interside. Actually, he'll have to leave this at where the water meter is. He'll have to go to that sidewalk, not to the complete curbing on that side, because there's a water meter there. I'll just take it there.
So,
Yeah, because there's a, when I read when I read the meters are right here. So we
that's
have
inside
to,
his fence.
now because there's a sidewalk that goes right next to it. I can't see that building, but it's right next to that building. There's a sidewalk. And on this side of the sidewalk would be the city easement with the water meters down in
Okay,
there.
so it's on the south side.
Right. It would be, it has to be.
Okay.
And I go
So
that
she's
way.
saying
Dave, on your,
his current fence is.
on your fencing, you're talking about there is a sidewalk course that goes right in the front. This is the front of the school. And there's the water meter, so it would have to be behind. It would have to be behind that sidewalk, or next to the
Now, the
building.
water meter is over on,
No, it's, I know, this is beach.
I'm not doing it right there.
No, okay, that's just the wall. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
I'm not doing anything new there. The only thing I want to do is on
Down the
Second
street and around and back.
He only wants the fence.
No.
Are you connecting back to where the breezeway is?
Yeah, that's all. I'm just going back.
Breeze, this,
No,
like that? You're not doing the end? You know, on
yeah,
the,
I
on
got it.
Maple, on Locust?
I only plan on building a fence between the two doors, the center door And the, what is it, the south?
The garage door or whatever.
Oh, no, not up by the garage door at all. I don't plan on building any fences.
So,
there.
and actually, he's just
Just
wanting
the
to build.
east, just the east
just
side,
right
just
here.
along Second.
Yeah.
A foot back from the
Just along
sidewalk.
Second Street. Okay,
Just on
gotcha.
Second
So
Street.
he's talking
Nothing on Beach.
Nothing on the other side.
Beaches.
Okay.
The only thing, the wind did not, I didn't check today, I asked Lou to repair it, but the wind did knock the fence over
Yeah, I seen
on
that.
Beach. I don't know if it's been repaired or not.
Yeah, I seen that. I was gonna try to get over and help you with that.
I've already talked to somebody about to fix it, but
Right, okay.
Then again, by putting up more fencing and
So-
more stuff.
probably,
Probably.
more fencing, more
No,
stuff.
no.
Right. No, less stuff. I really have the building sold and I'm gonna be leaving in a couple of years.
Don't threaten us.
It'll make everybody happy. I'm not gonna stay here until I die.
Dave, are you gonna, like, okay, we got the fence on Second Street, are you gonna then connect it to the building? Yes.
No, not connected completely, 8 foot is all. 8 foot in from the street side. There'll be an opening between the 8 foot section and the building, it'll be about 10 foot wide.
So where you have your front walkway, what I'm calling the front
Yeah,
door.
alongside of the building, it'll be open, so I can move my stuff in and out.
Okay. So basically it's just putting a frontage. Yep.
I just wanna make it so I can mow and make
Get
the
in.
place.
Okay,
That's just for more stuff for you to park behind it.
Yeah, and I can park more
No,
stuff behind
we don't
it,
want
right?
that.
If I so choose, but I choose not to.
12 foot minimum.
okay. So basically he's just doing a partial thing.
I'm an amateur compared to some of these people.
Well, yeah, it would be a partial. It's just like from door to door.
I think you're asking for more trouble.
They burn the wood, so it'll catch on fire.
Yeah, this is all from last spring, so, yeah.
And we also, the other issue is, I would wanted to see if there's a way
What kind of time frame do you think you're going with, Dave?
I don't know, with this broken hip now, I've slowed down a lot. It'll be before spring.
Okay,
I
that's
don't
kind of
know,
where
I
it
don't
is.
know when I'll get the fence completed.
Okay.
Yeah, you, I'm just asking if that's.
I think you should address it in the spring.
Yeah, I think that's the timeline right now. Because the building has like no point to it, so.
All right, it just takes time.
It's just that. It is that.
You're not gonna do anything till spring.
Yeah.
Table it till spring.
No, he has to do it on the back side of the sidewalk. Because that sidewalk is right along that curve on the drive.
So it's on the east side, not on the south side.
No, it's on the side, yeah, it's over here. And he's gonna put this here, and this is the sidewalk, and here is that, so he's gonna put it right up next to the sidewalk.
Joe, did I send you that zoning book?
Yeah, I have all the zoning. I have all the county zoning.
Has anybody talked to their neighbors along that side?
25 or 50 feet from center, right? Whatever it is.
You know, as long as all the other ordinances are followed, like, it's not a haven for animals. It doesn't pose a danger to anybody. minutes. I haven't been involved in it, so it's up to you guys after that.
Table it till spring.
Those are my concerns. That habitat, there's my stray cats that live over there right now.
Table it till spring.
Yeah, it's not. I would agree with you. Yeah.
I agree.
We take a vote? Let's see. Okay. So, Dave Liberton has presented a building permit. When does it say it was on there, Norma?
Partial fence enclosure.
Partial fence enclosure. Commission has reviewed it. When does it say that, you said he did it, when did he submit this?
Oh, this was in the spring.
In the spring he submitted it,
Yeah.
so it's been a while since we've looked into this. We got Joe's opinion, so at this time we're going to take a vote. All those in favor of Joe, or of Dave having approved his building permit and sending it on to Jeff Beck, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same side, motion carried.
Why would you encourage this person to put more stuff in the city?
Not
For free.
encouraging anybody to do anything.
For free. We live in America.
And we're free not to be with all
I'm
of
not
that
affecting
stuff that is
anyone. I've never raised my voice
That's
or
enough.
said anything offensive about this town or anybody in it. So therefore, I don't see why there's any complaints.
Do you see what you have caused in this city?
What?
Do you see what you caused in this city?
You guys
I
are
see our city, I see messes all over.
Not like yours.
Dave. Please, it's refrain. Okay. Moving on. So, the new business, this is the library memorandum. I'm just gonna read this.
Yeah,
It might be easier.
yeah.
So the memorandum for understanding for the library, the memorandum of understanding, this agreement is made and entered on blank day of blank month of 2022 by and between the city of Mccracken, Kansas, the city, the board of trustees, the Mccracken Public Library, the library, and the board, corporate, and politic, authorized by Kansas statute KSA 12-1223, collectively the parties, whereas the city of the library each provide for the operation and maintenance of the physical facility known as the Mccracken Public Library located on 303 Main Street in Mccracken, Kansas, the facility, and whereas the city and the library desire to clarify the responsibilities of the parties of the operation and maintain the facility, and whereas the parties have reached an agreement for maintenance and operation of the facilities, and both desire to commit to one another their respect, intent, and desire from this point forward. Now therefore, in consideration of the terms and conditions set for below, the parties do hereby agree as follows. Both parties agree and acknowledge that the facility is owned by the city, the facility is occupied by the library, and the library possesses a leasehold interest in said real property. The library agrees to pay all employees employee expenses and set our own hours. Pay all general operating expenses, including utilities, office equipment, repair and expenses, and general supplies. Pay insurance on contents of the library as of this MOU writing through Rush County Insurance and Farmers Alliance. Pay any building maintenance or repairs totaling up to or under $1,000. Allow public use of the meeting room located inside the library upon approval of the director and or the board during regular business hours, unless otherwise approved by the library board, and as long as the users agree to sign and sign the library meeting room rules agreement. After hour room use must be accompanied by a library board trustee and member of the library director. The city agrees to pay the library general liability insurance on the building from the city funds, separate from the library mill levy tax allowance, pay/donate to the library $500 a quarter on the city's financial calendar as is feasible for the city to do so. Mow the grass, trim the edges, clear the ice, snow after precipitation completion from the library sidewalks and the front porch area. If the city is unable to do so for any reasons, please let the librarian director know as soon as possible so that the arrangements can be made. Pay any building maintenance and repairs over $1,000 with the library contributing the first $1,000 to the repair of the maintenance. Received from the Rush County Treasurer and dispensed to the library twice a year, June and the end of December, our collective meal levy allotment from the city of Mccracken. Thank you, the city of Mccracken Commissioner. The reason for this is because it was a handshake, and they're trying to clear up what their responsibilities are and their requirements. And they are required to keep the rental insurance on the building already, so they pay an insurance, but it's for the contents, and it has to be up to $30,000 in contents, because they have CKLS's stuff in there.
There is a couple things that I really looked at, because we don't have the manpower to clear off everybody's snow and ice. So I really think that needs to be struck out of there. That would just be the librarian's
From what
situation.
I gathered from the meeting that I attended, Crystal made the comment that since, with our city superintendent, if he would clear the snow.
But he's
and she
not
said
always
that,
available.
And she said that if he's not available, then to make arrangements with her, but she.
Yeah, I just think that part needs to be taken out, because I don't think.
But I think
we should
she's
put
also
that on.
referring to, because that's what Otis has, and that's also what Lacrosse has, so I think that's what she's referring to as.
Probably.
Which
But they have a little
they have
different
more of a
man
crew, yeah. I
power.
understand.
And with
And she did kind of
Shane's-
say that if that wasn't something that we didn't think we could do, like, it's
Right.
not a deal breaker.
I mean, yeah, we mow it and we keep the hedge trimmed, we
Yeah.
do that, and I know I try to keep up the weeds in that, where the.
I know they kind of went off, this was kind of off of Otis's one that they
Right.
had, and CKLS sent them like 3 different ones. Otis and other libraries and people that are in our third class. So, I know that the $500 a quarter, Otis does $1,000 a quarter, so they cut that one
Oh, I don't have
down.
any problem with that.
But, and it also, she said, make sure that you stress to them that it's feasible as they see fit. Like if they don't have it, they understand.
Right.
She said.
Also, how do we separate the insurance? Because the last time I talked about, we had it all inclusive.
Way back then.
Well, it's only the contents, the city still has the policy.
I
The
know.
library doesn't have the policy, so we're already paying their insurance.
Okay, so that's not really.
There's no change in that.
Okay,
The city had the building.
yeah.
They have the contents. Bill.
So, yeah, the only one I would just take out, just because there's no holding to, is for us to clean off their sidewalks.
Thanks, Joe.
I think they can
I agree.
manage
I
that.
agree with Mary on that, when they showed up to the library, it was, snow.
Yeah. When I owned a business, I would clean my own sidewalks
Unless,
off.
if the snow's 2 feet, then we'll go down and help them or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, not that, yeah, not that I mind helping, it's just that, but I don't have time to do it, that's.
So I think,
Other stuff, trimming hedges and so forth is one thing, but in ice and snow, I think that's up to them.
Yeah, I do too.
would that include the parking, or will we clear that anyway for the street?
Well, we don't ever, right now, until we, that's one of the things I think we probably need to talk to the county about, if they will come in and, like they used to,
Well, Shane said you could go on truck to the street.
and if he would do it, that's fine. But again, that depends on his work hours too, because he does have really, really sporadically,
Yeah,
so.
so, okay.
But just
So
that
I would
struck
then,
out.
so then, strike those out, do you wanna submit that one,
Yeah, you can,
so I would make a motion to,
Nicole just said to research it. She just gave you to read through them. and
well, I
then
talked
time.
to Crystal today, and she said it was up to us if we thought it was set and okay, she was okay, or if there were some changes we needed to make,
just
she
send it
was
back to
fine.
them.
Yeah, send it back to her, but I really think we could probably, we agree on all the stuff except just that, we could just have that struck out. And
So, do we need to send it back to them, or do we need to,
I would just say we could vote on it with that struck out at the, the word memorandum.
Okay, so I would make a motion to approve the memorandum for the library, removing and clear ice snow after participation completion from the library sidewalks and front porch area. And if the
Does that address the?
city is unable to do this for any reason, please put the library in there as soon as possible for.
So it'll just say mowing, trimming the hedge.
Yeah, so with us agreeing to mow and trim the hedges.
Can I ask you a question? Who's that agreement with, the city and who?
The library.
The library.
Who's the library?
The library.
The library board, the board, because they're technically their own entity and they just are,
Where do they get
leaseholders
their
of-
revenue from?
they get the revenue from the state and then also from the city for taxpayers' money.
Yeah, they get a tax levy.
You get a mill levy.
A mill levy, I'm sorry.
That doesn't go to the city,
No.
that goes to the.
No, that.
We budget,
They
budget
actually
for
send
their
it to
costs.
us and then we write the check. The county tells us exactly how much that is and then we write a check to them.
So how's that gonna work is it gonna go straight to the library board now? So-
nothing changes.
No,
This-
nothing changes on the money.
This is just a contract between the city and the library so that way they know where they stand. Because at one point in time, they wanted to get their deed back because they didn't want the city involved. So then at this point in time, they've decided that they're going to lose funding if they were to give their deed back. So the city still has the deed, but there used to be tale of they were supposed to pay the insurance, they were supposed to pay the utilities. Well, the city budgets for the library, but they've never given enough money to actually pay their insurance or their utilities in today's market, because if they did, it takes like $12,000 to run the library a year. We don't give $12,000, we're only giving $3,800. So they get small amounts from us, but they want to know what they can and can't do. And when the meeting room was built and they asked for a shed and was denied for their building permit, they wanted to make sure that where they kind of stand, what are their obligations, because every library in Kansas has some sort of a contract if it's city owned. So this just kind of tells them, this is what you're going to do, this is what we're going to do. Because technically, there was nothing under this when we raised the funds to do the grant for the HVAC system. If we wouldn't have had this, well, we didn't have this in place, but if we would have known that we didn't have this in place at that time, then the city would have been responsible for $9,000 HVAC system, just like they would have been responsible for the roof, just like they would have been responsible for the siding. But we raised funds for all those for the library. And nobody was going to ask the city for that money because we knew the city didn't have that type of money. So this basically says in there what the city will do, what the library will do, and what they can and can't do, because they govern under two sets of laws. They govern under the municipality law, but then the library governs under Kansas library law, so it doesn't really have the same set of rules.
And it also gives them a better, if we stay under the city, they stay under the city, they have a better opportunity for grants. Because it looks like the city is supporting
They
them.
don't get grants if they're not under the city.
Still does.
Well, my only concern is they will have enough revenue to keep the library open.
Absolutely. And
The
Clyde,
city,
this will actually give them more because you're going to be donating $500 quarterly to the library on top of their meal levy. So we're actually giving the library more money by helping them out like this, which is what other towns do.
Does this address the taxes?
For tax
Yeah,
levy.
because there is no taxes if they stay under city.
No, we just,
Yes, they're
We already
taking
did
care
that.
of it.
We
It does
already
say
we already
that.
ratified
that's
that.
gonna lose the most.
Like the library already ratified that. They're doing their own
Yeah.
bookkeeping for taxes, you mean? They'll pay their own taxes. Yeah, this takes care of that. They'll do all their own
that's
payroll.
why I was just asking if
Yeah,
it was.
yeah, that does. It takes care
Yeah,
of
it
that.
does clarify that,
That's
yeah.
clarified. Because there was an issue about the libraries, their taxes, and how they're paid out. But that will take care of that too. Even though they've already ratified. So, yeah. So is there a second on my motion?
I'll second it.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded to take out the removal of ice and snow on the city memorandum for the library. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same side, motion carried. Okay. Let's see here. Next, we have the country club. So our city council has advised us that the maintenance agreement with the city of Mccracken Country Club is essential to lease agreement of the land. You can see no reason that the city should have any ownership over the checking account since the city has no oversight over the account. He has advised us that we give the country club 60 days to get their financial obligations in order because we will be closing the country club account and giving them a cashier's check for the balance so that they may open their own account.
It's already done.
They close their own account?
It's done.
Oh, perfect.
What ownership did the city have over that account? The only thing we had was a shared VIN. That's it.
Yeah, it kind of got, when we put the new software in,
Yeah, so.
that's
you
where
didn't
that
have
kind
any
of comes,
ownership.
so we just had to kind of
It
do
was prior
something
to-
legal to make that.
It was prior to the software.
It's already
It was
done
the
anyway,
ACH.
so.
Right,
You
no, it's,
couldn't get on there to check a fart in the wind on it now, so. For anything.
No, that's wonderful.
Okay,
So then I would,
so we're done then?
yeah, good.
Shit before you put stuff on it, Jim.
Okay. So, if there is nothing else,
Wait, I have a question. We have a maintenance agreement, which is one sentence long. It says the country club will maintain the golf course, which is not a lease agreement. I don't know where your city councilor is, I know where he went to school, I don't know where he's. So what's the point? I mean, where are you going with this?
it's just like the library,
You're wanting us to enter into agreement with you to lease that property?
so that it releases all liability from the city, yes.
Well, I talked to Jeff Vapp when that golf course was put on the insurance plan. It's like Norma said, it was just added to a list. It's already paid for. It didn't add any premium to the actual cost of the insurance coverage for the city. And I would think that even if we had a lease agreement, you would still want to keep coverage for the golf course, because I can guarantee you, you're going to have a lot more money to get from an attorney than we will.
this didn't have any, he didn't tell us anything about the insurance side of it, did he?
The insurance, we would still maintain
It'd still
insurance,
be
yeah,
under,
nothing
it'd
would
still be
change.
under the city.
Nothing would change, and as far as a lease agreement,
I mean, this has worked for 30 years.
Yes, and that's what I
And
said.
it's.
but we haven't had an issue until now, and so.
What's the issue now? That's my question. Where are we going first? What are we doing?
It would just take, as far as the city's affiliation, like with the count system and with the
It was
meeting you guys
free,
just
I
had.
think, wasn't it?
That's
the
what-
accounts
You
on it?
have nothing to do with our account.
Yes, but the count was under this, it was under the city, because it's on
We
Nicole's.
will take our, if you don't want us to use your EIN, we won't use it.
Well, no, I was under the impression you guys already had a new EIN number. Do you not?
I don't think so.
No, they have.
Okay, let me interject. Little Christina Brooke, 2 years ago, came in to here and said that she did in fact file for another EIN for the Mccracken Country Club. It was whenever she changed the name. So whenever that was before me. So it was told then that there was in fact a new EIN, but I don't think it was ever submitted to that bank. So when the city goes and requests our statements, that is still attached to that EIN. So they pull any account that's under the EIN and it comes back to us or whoever requested that.
Yes, that is correct.
Because that was my question, is if you had an EIN number, why is the city mower, not city mower, the golf course mower, why did they use our EIN number to get, not to pay any tax, to be tax exempt?
Because we were told we could.
Well, I understand.
Well, they had to use the EIN number anyway because they're part of the city. The only thing they're saying for the lease agreement, because in there it said that if it was under the city, there can be no charging for green fees and whatnot. But if it's under the country club, and that's why they're talking about just a lease agreement, then the green fees are fine. But as a city, we couldn't charge any fees.
Well, that's not true. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't want to argue with you, but
No, I'm just saying that's what the
I don't know
paper.
where that came from, but every municipal golf course in the country charges a fee to play the golf course.
Oh, I know, but it was since it was willed or whatever.
No, that
No,
has nothing to do with.
paperwork.
But you're charging the fee, right, Les? The city's
Yeah,
not
but-
charging, the
Right,
city's
the
not
city's
charging
not
the
charging
fee.
Exactly, that's why I don't understand why we're spending time on this.
No, I'm saying as far as,
And attorney fees.
I'm saying as far as the city, you guys are two separate things. That's why the city has nothing to do with it. The city basically leases you the land.
Well, there's no lease. We don't pay any money.
The only issue is the bank account was set up incorrectly.
I mean,
That's the
bank-
only
I have
issue here.
I've been the treasurer for 24 hours now. And I'm trying to figure all this out.
Exactly.
We are changing the bank account, and it's gonna be under the Mccracken Country Club. And I found out last night that the city was getting our statements, which was news to me.
When I came in, we weren't. When I came in here, when I went and we got on, everything changed at the bank, and I went in there, everything popped up. And I went in as soon as, because we don't need it, so I went into the bank, and we had no access.
That is incorrect.
Visual house.
We did have it.
We did.
All I had to do was go and request it, and it would come to me on the EIN. I've
Well,
got,
I'm not saying I couldn't go in, nobody could go in there and request it because it was part of the city. I'm saying that as the commission here, we didn't, because I guess if they wanted to walk in there and request it, but I had it taken off all visual,
you
so
took
we
it off.
couldn't get
Okay, I got
it,
you.
get it. Yeah, because
Gotcha.
when I went to go look at our accounts, like our water fund and everything, your guys's would pop up for the mower and for your savings checking, whatever. And I had them take that off so that it couldn't even be viewed by the city
Well,
at all.
That's what it should be.
Yeah, and so I had it taken off because we didn't need it. That was one more thing I didn't want to look at, so I took it off, and it hasn't been there since I've been in here. But
But and then when the ACH happened, and the library changed their EIN number, I think that's where that all came into play. Anything that the city was like. Because the library had to change their
Seems to me
EIN
we
number.
had an EIN against. That's, when we bought the mowers, I know, we talked to somebody with the city, and they gave us the number to use.
But see, I'm not sure that the EIN number was even generated
I don't think so
before
either.
the mower.
Oh, yes, it was.
It was?
Oh, yes.
yeah,
When did they buy the
The
mower?
new one?
Yeah,
It was generated way back when John was the
I'm talking about the
mayor here.
The new one?
The
No.
EIN
I know, I'm
number.
asking about the new EIN number.
well, there is no new EIN number.
That was just fallacy. It was told
It was
that
told
it
there
was
was a
being
new
done, and it was never
They
done.
couldn't get the new EIN number because right now they have the loan for the mower and it's under that EIN number. So once the loan for the mower is paid off, then the country club will get their own EIN number. But they couldn't because they've already used that EIN, and once it's paid off, they won't have a problem. They'll have their own.
So the city owns the land, we maintain it, we pay for the lawnmowers, we pay for the gas. That's basically the relationship. We've agreed to do that as long as we're in existence, and we're in existence, so. Is that all you're trying to do now?
Yeah, just making sure that it's separated into two different things, and that there's something to go on, so that if anything ever happened, you know where you stand, we know where we stand as far as that.
Well,
Because
I've
there's,
been
it's
told the city
nothing,
maintains the insurance, and we don't have it, so.
And we always
yes,
have.
we always
Yes.
have, yeah. They maintain the insurance, and you're basically a leaseholder, but your lease, we don't have a lease, we have a maintenance agreement, but the maintenance agreement serves as a contract, and I don't know where they said we had a lease, we don't have a lease, we have a contract. And I explained that to them, it was a contract.
Okay, so that's the end of it then?
From what I had been advised, they wanted to just fill out a memorandum that was like that for the library, just so that we could separate the two. That way you could understand, because by that, according to that paperwork that says with the, we don't charge fees and that.
That was an application somebody made for tax exemption of that property, the city did. We never, that has nothing to do with our golf course.
So why did they retain it?
I have no idea. You're the one that found it. Or
Yeah,
you
it's in
did.
the box.
In the
Safety
box?
deposit, the safety deposit. Yeah. It was all given by Twyla and Chris Betts in 1991.
So, I mean, does the deed say anything on there about citizens get to play free?
It's in that agreement.
That is not a deed. It's an application.
Or application, sorry, not agreement, application, yes. It was in that.
And that was filed with the Board of Tax Appeals. That's
And approved.
by, I mean, it's not even signed. I don't know if that was the city that agreed to that or.
What papers do you have, Liz?
Well, I've got what was given to me by Lance.
The one that went through the district court and
It
was,
went to the Board of Tax Appeals,
okay,
which, I mean, all that is just getting the property exempt for the city.
okay.
Has nothing to do with
So-
Mccracken Country Club.
No, but that has to do with the city, right? So the city's saying they're not gonna do anything, right? They're not gonna charge anybody?
I don't know. I have no idea who wrote that. I have no idea why it was written. I mean,
Because
that's-
the only thing that we were looking at is if the city said that they were not going to charge anybody, we would then have to enter into a lease agreement with the country club for like $1 for 50 years or whatever. That way, it took that liability of the charging people off of the city, because we've started the lease with the country club. So it's, the country club can charge whatever they want, because it's their own entity. So it's just to separate the entities. That's all the memorandum would be.
Okay, well, I've never heard anybody complain about paying $5 to play golf all day in Mccracken, but.
No,
if
that
it's a
wasn't
problem,
our,
we're going.
no, and that wasn't our thing. That was
Who's
just,
advising you?
so,
Are you gonna do this with the swimming pool too?
no, because the swimming pool generates funds for the city.
The city owns it? Well, never mind, I'll talk to you later about that.
Okay. Is there
The
anything else?
city owns it, but the city runs it, right?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, the city runs the swimming pool. We don't have a
I'm always
association.
giving money to it, so I didn't know, I was giving money to the city, I thought it was giving it to the swimming pool.
Well, it is still to this one.
Yeah, that's.
Exactly. Swimming pool. Yeah. Okay. Is there any other new business?
No.
Okay. Joe? If not, I'll make a motion.
You know, as far as Dave's fence goes, I want Dave to know that I plan to enforce any other ordinances which would affect the backside of your building.
I can't hear you, I don't.
I said, I plan on doing the best I can to enforce any other ordinances that might concern the backside of your building.
Oh, that's your job, yeah.
So,
It's not.
we would want to get that cleaned up too.
I'm working on it.
All right.
Not physically.
No, I
I'm
understand.
working on trying to get
I
somebody.
see there's somebody
physically.
working on the front of the building and
Yeah, I
getting
need to
stuff.
get that whole thing cleaned up, that whole
Okay.
backside, because I started on it, and I think it's going.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had glue in there, you
Yeah, I saw
remember
you.
me?
I
We
saw
hauled
you.
a whole bunch of,
Yeah.
brush
Okay.
out of there.
I just
and-
wanted to make that clear.
Oh, yeah, I'm aware of my mess.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay. No, I have no other business.
What happened to your ordinance guy or whatever?
Do what?
I think he just got back. He was in Florida.
He was in Florida,
Well,
on vacation.
I need a question on that. Why would you name it Marshall when the marshal requires, and you put the ordinance in the paper, and you say in there that he is to be I believe it was certified law enforcement. And as far as I'm aware, Frank is not a certified law enforcement. Why don't you just call it a code enforcer and be done with it?
Because it's not a code enforcer.
Well,
a
it's
city
darn
marshal.
sure not a marshal.
And it also, if you read the context, it says if they have law enforcement, they can gives them the ability to use it. If they don't have it, they don't use it.
Austin, you're twisting everything.
I am not.
Yeah, all right.
You can read the
Thank you.
context.
So he's gonna carry
Okay.
that then?
No, he's
Yeah.
not carrying a gun. He's a compliance officer, building inspector, and
But a
he
marshal?
can do
They're
fire
calling
He's a
him-
marshal.
We're calling him a marshal instead of.
That's what Joe Casey was a marshal. If you look up the state.
Joe carried a gun.
You don't have to carry a gun.
No,
You look up-
different
if
times,
you
different
look
life.
up- Under commission government, if you look up marshal, there's no stipulations or specifications as to what it's supposed to be. So
I disagree.
therefore,
Okay.
and we were out of compliance since 2004, so.
With code enforcement?
No, with having a city marshal. After Joe Casey died, they didn't appoint anybody, but they never charged right on the statute, so therefore we were out of compliance. Every commission since 2004.
Has been required to have
It's a state law, you have to have a city marshal, you have to have a
Code enforcement.
city judge, and you have to have a, city judge, city marshal, and then city attorney if you do municipal court, and then clerk, treasurer.
But one time we had all these.
Mayor.
Yes.
But we don't have any attorney that lives in the city. And they haven't chartered out of that either.
Not required.
Sounds like a lot of money.
Yes.
How much are the legal fees?
Crazy that three
Legal
attorneys
fees?
say it's okay and one from Topeka says it's not. It's all blown out of proportion.
Agreed to take the job. Frank,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is.
you agreed on a salary or
Yes.
payment for it.
$400 a week.
So $400 a year is what it's gonna cost.
Because
What are we gonna get money for?
I'm more concerned with finding out from the attorney that we need to
Seriously.
have it down, Marshall, and that's all, but that was more than $400.
No, it wasn't.
What about the agreement and all this other stuff? I mean, this is all stuff that's being generated by somebody besides the council, I assume.
He's been very, very reasonable. Very, very.
these are
Did you
issues
see
we,
his bill?
yeah, you just have to put in a freedom of information request, because I don't have it right now in front of me. And it's not one of the bills we paid.
What is your legal budget? You want a legal budget?
20,000, and last year it was
40.
it
We
was
spent
40.
40.
It was 40,000?
We spent 40.
No,
It was 20,000.
it was 20, but I thought it was spent 37.
That may as well be 40 then.
Yeah.
Legal fees?
40,000 that we spent. This year, we haven't even spent a fourth of that.
That wasn't this commission.
Yeah, one last one, yeah. Yeah, me,
Do what?
just retired.
We're done? Yep.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
One
I'll
question,
second it.
it's an easy one. Since January to this time, no flags have been put up on Main Street.
We didn't have the flags.
Hmm?
We didn't own the flags. I don't even know where.
That was just
I
something
think
that,
Les had bought
Martin
those
has
at
them, they're in the
time or
shed.
something.
And he said that,
Yeah.
you guys never asked for them, so they didn't go up.
I had no idea. Yeah, yes, that Les and
I
Rose
wasn't aware
made
that
a
Martin
long
had
time
them.
ago. But I didn't know whatever happened.
since I'm 70, I don't get on ladders
I
anymore.
understand that.
Little Leland Hall had their flags out.
The poles are, the holders are up there, right?
Yeah,
Yep, most of them.
yeah, most of
The
them
next
are.
veterans or Pearl Harbor Day, we can put them up there.
So I think we need to have some
December
agreement
6th,
on
is that what
who
it
can
is?
do the, put them up.
December
We
6th?
need to find some young bucks to do that.
Is that December 6th? Or 7th? Pearl Harbor Day.
I think it's 7. You know, don't you? You're the military
Pearl
man.
Harbor Day, so that was Saturday.
I was thinking it was the 7th, December 7th.
Yeah, December.
My husband teeter-tottered on me.
Alright, if there's no,
So,
so if we move and seconded to adjourn the meeting, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Okay.
remember who do those, put up those flags on those days? Or if you know somebody we could call or
Well, the
volunteer?
library actually,
Are they,
this is part of
are
the.
they, where are they at, on the poles? No, I mean, is that where they go? Where do they go?
There, on the poles up on Main Street, there was, Rose and Les donated those.
No, I know, but are they, how?
I think they're just in the middle.
Oh, you have to be
I'm
on
just
a
saying, could it
you
be
have to at
something
least
like
be
the
on
kids
a-
do, like, for, you know,
Youth group.
youth group?
Yep.
Yeah. We might be able to do that. But we did a pickup with the ladder in the back. That's how we
Well,
did
they're
it.
talking about.
Oh, kissy,
Because I know me.
On the calendar somewhere or something.
Flags, yeah.
Before I was on here, they were going to put a flag on the cross. But when they did the building permit, they denied the whole, they couldn't break anything down in their comment. So we did put a flag pole, but now it's installed, even at this time we did. I can't install one of the library without even get her flag pole. cut it to the ground that's in the front of the house, put it up, because our lease got down for all the vacant lots. It's a big to do it, so they would be all year round. But it was just getting the